Hello, everyone. I'm Travis. I'm the founder and executive director of TechCongress, coming to you from Washington, D.C. If you're watching this video, you are likely thinking about applying for our 2027 Congressional Innovation Fellowship. And so I am here because I want to talk to you a little bit about the big part of that application, which is our policy essay. And I want to name from the outright the sort of the fear here. You're a technologist. You've never written a policy essay. Where do you start? And that is why we're doing this video. That is also why we have Tech Congress in the first place. You don't need a poli sci degree. You don't need congressional experience. In fact, we don't want people with those experiences by and large. The whole purpose is to train folks with tech expertise in working in Congress and in public policy. So, what I want to talk about for the next 10 or so minutes is what makes a great essay from our experience. What we see are some common mistakes on an annual basis. And I also want to give you a structure that you can steal for your essay. The essay also, it's not a test of whether you think like a policy wonk already. We don't expect you to be a policy wonk. It's an exercise for us to understand how you think. And so, why do we ask for the essay? Well, at Tech Congress, our mission is to place technologists. Let me take a step back and give you the kind of 30,000 foot view. We place technologists as tech policy advisors to members of Congress through these one-year fellowships. We do that in order to build a critical mass of tech expertise within Congress. We believe that there needs to be a technologist at the table for everything that Congress and government does. And the good news about Congress is that it's a really small place. There are only 4,000 staff in the entirety of the institution. Of those, the folks that touch tech policy and are senior enough to matter, we're talking about a universe of probably about 1,000 people. And so for a technologist to be at the table for everything that Congress does, that it does, average table size, you're talking about 10 people when you're writing a bill or doing oversight or launching an investigation. And so a 1 in 10 proposition out of a universe of 1,000, you're talking about 100 staffers arrayed across the institution at which we think you can reach a structural upgrade. And so that's what we aim to achieve. We do that by transitioning fellows that want to stay into full-time staffing roles, and over 30 have done that, but also showing what's possible to the institution, helping the institution and members of Congress value tech expertise, and to open those doors for other technologists to make it into the institution. And I built Tech Congress because I needed it when I was a staffer. 6 years on the Hill, and I just kept getting underwater on tech issues. And tech isn't just a slice of the policy-making pie. It's not health or transportation or education. It's the crust. It's baked into everything. And so functional government requires tech expertise. So thanks for affording me that little preamble. The essay for us, for our recruitment process, tells us three things. Something about your technical knowledge, something about your ability to communicate clearly, and something about how you structure your thinking, and in particular, providing a real recommendation that a member of Congress can act on. So, what a great essay does. This is from now 11 years of applications, 17 cohorts. The first thing a great essay application does is it gets specific. This is the biggest upgrade that you can make into your essay. So let's take a bad example. Artificial intelligence, very big issue right now. You want to write about AI? Don't write about AI. Write about something specific within AI. AI and forensics algorithms, facial recognition in law enforcement, chip shortages. The narrower you get, the more prescriptive and the more credible you can get in your essay, and the more room you have to shine. I know that feels paradoxical, but there really is an inverse relationship there with the narrowness of your scope and your ability to really carve out a substantive recommendation. Secondly, you should make a recommendation. You'd be surprised at how many people get through their essay and don't follow up with a recommendation. So tons of essays do a great job of describing a problem and then just finishing. Make sure you take it to the recommendation. What are some examples? Spending $100 million, not a great recommendation. What are some better ideas for a recommendation? Is there an existing bill to co-sponsor? Is there a hearing to call with specific witnesses to bring? Is there an oversight letter that should be written to a specific stakeholder or set of stakeholders? Is there a regulation you could be working with an agency to push through? Get specific. Finally, use the space. The word limit is 350. If we see one paragraph, we know you really didn't try. One practical tip here, draft this in a separate document and then paste in the text. The text box with any application, any form, it's really tiny and it'll hide typos. And so if you do it in another document, you can track the word count, paste it in at the end. Let's talk about some mistakes commonly that we see every year so that you don't make them. First off, don't put your name in the text in the actual essay. We anonymize our application, and for our application readers, they don't see your name or other identifying information. That's really important because it mitigates bias. So don't put in the title of the essay to Senator X from Jane Smith. Leave your name off of that. As an aside, if you're writing if you have your resume and you've got publications that have been that you've published, just take your name out of the author line. Put XXX or something else to take your name out of the author line, so that we don't see it. Another mistake we often see: people that don't really pick a tech policy issue. So let me give an example. STEM education, really important issue, but that's not really a tech issue. It's more of a workforce issue. If you're talking about, computer science education or, STEM in schools. So if you care about education, what's another way to spin this? Don't write about computer science curriculum in K through 12 schools. Let's think about how schools collect and protect student data, especially with customized learning applications and AI. Same field, but now it's a tech issue rather than a workforce issue. So that's another thing to think about is when you're defining your tech policy issue. And then lastly, try to stay away from the shiny object. Every cycle has its hot topic. One year we got over 100 essays about blockchain. So you can probably guess about what year that was. Another year, back in the late teens, we got a lot of essays about autonomous vehicles. There will be a shiny object this year. And so if you're going to write about a popular topic, absolutely fine to do, but find the angle that you're really interested in and that maybe only you can think about. A niche topic is really a gift when you're reading essay number 300. And to go back to the last section, also, the more specific you can get, the better. So let's talk about a structure that you can use and steal in your policy essay. One way to do this is to think like a staffer and put it in the format of a memo. We'll have a whole day on this in orientation. We'll train you on it, on writing congressional memos. We've got a couple hours of training it. You'll do it in groups and then you'll do it on your own. But let me give you the four elements of a memo that could be a structure to your essay. One is naming the problem. You're leading with the why, grounding it in the facts of the moment. Second part is the why now. What's the timing hook? Is there a new report? Is there a ruling from someone? Is there a new tech product or model release or controversy out in the world? Something that's relevant to Congress. Is there something moving in Congress? The Kids Online Safety Bill or a privacy bill? Think about the why now and why you're writing about this topic in the current moment. Third part, recommendation. Tell the member what to do. The best essays not only tell a member what to do, but they give staged or layered options. Do X and then Y. But if X stalls, try Z. So you want to think 1, 2, 3 steps down because that's how the best policymakers think, is sort of like choose your own adventure in figuring out how to move policy. And then finally, a fourth bit, short close, tie it all together. Don't overthink the proportions. Hopefully all the elements are present, but it doesn't have to be a perfect split. Lastly, also on this, give some space between your paragraphs, breathing room, some white space when you're reading, walls of text. Put yourself in the shoes of someone reading a bunch of applications on a screen. The more blank space, the easier it is to read, and that is also really helpful when you're reading your 300th essay for some of our selection board members. So let me give you a quick example of this problem structure in action. It's an example we used 2 years ago at our orientation, and that was Ticketmaster fees. For this, as a group during orientation, we pretended we were Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. We were a staffer for Marsha Blackburn, and we were pitching her on an idea around Ticketmaster fees. This was the problem, just to name it. Ticketmaster fees were climbing and inflating ticket prices for consumers. This was especially important because why? Where's Marsha Blackburn from? Anybody know? Tennessee. What's in Tennessee? A lot of recording industry. So this felt like a good issue for her and why we pitched it to her. The why now, this was in the middle of Taylor Swift and Beyonce's pre-sale meltdowns and those massive record-breaking tours. And you had really furious fans, some wall-to-wall media about it. You had hearings in the House and the Senate. And so there was an important thing happening in the world that we could attach to. Our recommendation was to urge a member that was already active on junk fees to co-sponsor an existing bill that Blackburn had already been working on. Another option we gave as a recommendation was to reach out to another office that was similarly aligned, that Blackburn had worked with on other issues, to gauge whether or not they'd want to partner on this issue. So the recommendation was reach out for a meeting. The point of all of this is to match the recommendation to what the member can actually do and what they might do in the immediate term. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, and beyond. And lastly, I want to close on a couple things. First, I want to name an issue that pops up for most fellows and most candidates, which is imposter syndrome. If you're sitting here, you may be a little bit nervous about applying, and let me tell you that almost every fellow feels that, and I want to name that that's a healthy emotion. You feel it because it means you've got that you've got some stake in this, that you're feeling engaged about it, and it's also a sign of humility. You can do this. It's not as hard as it looks. I promise that. Everybody learns on the job in Congress. I did as well, which we'll talk a lot about during orientation. And so if you're unsure and you're on the fence, I want to encourage you to take the leap and put in your application. Imposter syndrome is a common thing, and it's a healthy feeling to have. The recipe for doing this right, to name some things we already talked about, pick something specific you understand, state the problem, make a real recommendation, show how you think. And we're not looking for a perfect essay. We don't expect you to have one. That's a huge part of why this program exists. The primary purpose is for your education. A couple things on logistics. Check the application for your exact deadline and the word count. Again, draft it where you can see it, not in the form box as well, and submit it on time. We don't offer extensions on the application. And lastly, I just want to leave you with a little bit of why I do this work. I do this work because I believe deeply that government needs to function in the 21st century, and in a lot of ways, it's not right now. I am the child of two lifelong civil servants, and they believe deeply and devoted their lives to helping government work a little bit better, and that's why we exist. And I was at a conference not long ago, and there was a panel on AI, and the panel was effectively, a person from a large tech company and then someone from a boutique lobbying firm. It was a packed house, really big, kind of ballroom size room in a conference center. Wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. And these were all legislators and legislative staff. 95% of the people in the room were legislators or legislative staff. And the interest in that topic in this panel on AI was so great that after that panel was over, the line of legislators and staff to talk to those panelists, who again were someone at a large tech company and a boutique firm lobbyist, was halfway across the room. And I tell you that story because legislators and legislative staff, they know that these are challenging issues. I have yet to meet a legislator that says that they feel fully equipped to take on the issues surrounding AI. And they're looking for advice, and they're going to get it from someone. And my hope for you is that you can be one of those people, because government at every level needs informed expertise, people that have been in the weeds on technology, that understand it, to help them make the best decisions they can possibly for their constituents and for the country. And so I hope you will apply before the deadline, and sending you thanks for your time and attention, and sending you best wishes and good luck. Thanks.